And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the usual Sunday stream. I'll be live. I think we are. Everything looks okay on my end. Excellent. Hello, Kairu and Chad. How am I doing today? I am doing all right, all things considered. How are you? Hello, Zhao. So today I'm just going to be focusing on getting this Spinoraptor enclosure built. So I'm just going to get started because really it's just a matter of doing decorative elements and stuff. So no real biggie today. Kind of gone for a decided to go for like a Vietnam-esque sort of feel to this enclosure with like the speedboats and stuff. That's the idea anyway. I want to place maybe a couple of blocks around here. Hello, Donna. Maybe a couple more in there, I think. Why not Scorpius? Because Scorpius Rex is ugly and stupid, and Camp Cretaceous is terrible, and do I really need to give any other reasons? Vietnam flashbacks. Well, I hope it doesn't create any flashbacks, but yeah, that's the feel. I've put a boat up here, and there's a boat capsize here. And I might kind of try and bury a few other things in around, but kind of want to just get a few of the bigger elements sorted first. Scorpius looks like a pug. You can call me Jay, my account name won't change. Okay, Jay. Yes, Joe. So on the 26th, which is the Friday, I believe, the content creators, so Evo, I know Evo's going, I think Gaming Beaver and Swerve are going, I think Best in is also going. they're getting like their own special event where they will be allowed to record footage and stuff. Those of us who are going on the other days, like me on the Saturday, we will not be allowed to record the footage, which is a bit disappointing, but is what it is. But other than those sorts of elements, we have absolutely no idea what's going to be shown. We have no idea, like, what we'll even be doing, whether we will all be actually be playing the game or whether we'll just be watching a playthrough of something or something. We have no idea what is going to happen. So we just have very basic details at the moment. It's perhaps a little too Japanese, but I think you can say that it's also got a sort of Vietnam feel to it. Maybe if you squint. um, I want to put in a couple of smaller water elements. And maybe a few classic geothermal vents and bubbles. Just the vents, not really deep enough for the bubbles. It's 5 a.m. in the morning for you. Good grief. I hope you've not got anything important to do tomorrow. Hello, Joshua. Okie dokie. Just put in some rocks just to disguise these vents a bit. Nice. I think we could do with maybe a rocky bit here. And let's do a rocky bit here. Maybe let's do like some smaller rocks around here. Yeah, reasonably happy with that. Park is shut, right? Just have a drink and catch up with chat. I do not have the Ultimasaurus skin. I did for Jurassic World Evolution 1, but I never ended up using it. So when it came out for Jurassic World Evolution 2, I just decided not to get it. Like, you know, I didn't use it in the first game, so I didn't see any point in getting it again, only not to use it again. Vietnamese foliage is quite bushy. So, let's start with... start with this sort of thing. Let's put some of these. Oh, I do hope they've made some improvements to the camera for Evolution 3. I agree with you there, Joe. Like, the way the camera sort of leaps in and out of lagoons when you're just trying to add foliage and stuff to them never ceases to wind me up. Oops. Okay, and then we're going to have a clump, and clump. grab some nicer colors. Does anyone like Peter Jackson's King Kong? I've never really been a fan of King Kong films. I've not really been ever interested in King Kong, so I don't really watch them. I just don't find Giant Gorilla Monkey particularly interesting as a movie. I think he's a little bit overrated for what he is. That's just my personal opinion. Okay. That's looking better. What else Frontier could come up with to market a JW? I think I think thinking ahead to any possible Jurassic World Evolution 4. That's wildly off, you know. I think we've got quite some time before we even think about whether they would actually do it. As far as what could they do with it, I mean, you could argue that Planet Coaster 2 doesn't really do that much different to Planet Coaster 1. All it does do is introduce some minor new elements and gameplay features. Its biggest thing, well, I suppose the water stuff is a big thing. But the basics are still pretty much the same. It's just an updated version, really. I mean, I'm fully expecting the Jurassic World Evolution 3 will eventually have some Cenozoic animals. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we'll get a Cenozoic DLC of some description. Whether it will be well implemented is a completely different kettle of fish, but I think we will have a. Well, if the game comes out, it's time for another company to do their take on a Jurassic Park management game. The thing is, what other companies are there? The unfortunate reality of the situation is that these days there really are not that many companies that specialize in management simulation style games. Not when, back in the day, there used to be a lot of them. It was a really relatively popular sort of game type. But now it's really not. Like, in terms of game sales, simulation and management games are only in like number 10 in the top 10 of most common types of game played and sold. So there really aren't that many companies around anymore that I reckon you could say would do a reasonable job. I mean, I suppose I would probably say maybe Paradox, who were the people that did City Skylines, but unfortunately they've well and truly gone and screwed up their reputation with the mess that is City Skylines 2, which has been generally considered a massive disappointment. But they're probably the only like big other company that I could maybe think would do a decent job at making a Jurassic management game. I mean, I think personally the future of Jurassic games is to move away from the park management aspect. The fact is, I think Jurassic needs to be more than just park management. There's a lot you could do with the franchise beyond that. Jurassic Park Survival taking a Jurassic Park game into the direction of something like Alien Isolation, that's a great idea, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. But I think there are easily other types of games that you could do with the Jurassic license if you were using your imagination. I mean, I could almost imagine something akin to, if you want a more sort of chilled, relaxed sort of gameplay experience, something akin to, was it Pokemon Snap back in the day, where you just went around environments taking pictures?
That is Pokemon Snap, yes.
That is Pokemon Snap. I could imagine something similar, a Jurassic style game where you go and take, you know, you're like on Isla Sorna and you have to go and take photographs of dinosaurs doing their stuff. You know? Or something like a Subnautica game, like a survival horror experience where or like a crafting survival game, which is what Subnautica is more than just straight up survival. You know, there's a lot you can do with the Jurassic franchise beyond let's just have a park builder because that's the most obvious sort of element. Oh, something's dying. What is it this time? Pterosaur? Yes, one of my genuine Opterus. There we go. Now, if I remember correctly, Spinoraptor can eat from piscivore feeders, correct? So, land fish feeder, piscivore feeder, invisible. Let's have 2 down there, and maybe let's do like 1 there, and 1 there, and 1 there. So plenty of food in here. Hello, Leon. Yeah, pterosaurs do always get stuck. As someone whose favourite game is from EA, I hope they leave JWE alone. Okay, now I'm curious. What is your favourite game, Custom Llamas? What do I think about Spinosaurus with lips or without? What is with this weird debate about certain dinosaurs and whether or not they have lips or not? It's a very peculiar debate that seems to be very prevalent in paleontology at the moment. I've never understood why it's so important. Like, either is probably valid. We'll never know for 100% sure. There's lots of competing theories. But, like, I don't know. I personally think dinosaurs look better without lips. I think exposed teeth, even though it might be wrong, I think they look better with exposed teeth, but that's just, you know, my thoughts. It's the Sims franchise. I think that's fair. There are certainly worse games that EA have put out. I've never really been into The Sims. I was into Sim City, but I was never into The Sims. I found looking after people to be too stressful. Looking after a city was easier. But I can see why people get into Sims. It's not one of those games that I would accuse you of being nuts for enjoying. I can see what people find interesting about it. I do think, though, that EA treat the Sims franchise like it's an excuse to print money. The way that they, like, make everything a DLC, basically, is, you know, pretty bad. But that's EA's culture, really. If you can make money from it, then they'll do it. EA basically ruined one of my favorite game franchises, so I don't really like EA anymore these days. I think the last games of theirs I brought were the Star Wars games, and they were Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order, that is. And they were okay, but they weren't fantastic. But yeah, EA basically destroyed my favorite game franchise of all time, so I've never really forgiven them for that. I think some mangroves. Let's make this water look a bit more interesting. I've never really watched Peter Jackson's King Kong. I don't have an opinion on it. I believe I said earlier on that I'm not really a fan of King Kong, so I don't have an opinion on it, Joe. I heard that the European species of Allosaurus isn't real and it's just Allosaurus fragilis. Yeah, I think that didn't happen last year, if I remember correctly, or the year before. It happened a while ago. Being said, that sort of thing regularly happens. You know, species go in and out of being valid. there's one thing you can guarantee about paleontology is that a species that is declared invalid one decade will then suddenly reappear the next decade as valid again. Paleontologists love to correct each other. Right. What we're going to do is add some slime to this river. Might be a bit much, but I always prefer to have more rather than less. Some people say they had lips because their teeth were dry, but then what about animals like Smilodon and their exposed teeth? Yeah, so the theory is that the enamel of dinosaurs would rot in open air, which is a valid argument to have. The thing that always makes me question that, though, as a reason for them having lips, is the reptiles persistently regrow their teeth. They don't have a limited number of teeth like mammals do, like us. Reptiles always grow teeth. They have multiple sets. So if you're never going to run out of teeth, the fact that your teeth may rot in open air isn't a big problem, is it? They're like sharks in that regards. They always have plenty of teeth. When it comes to Smilodon, I think you could probably argue that mammals have different enamel, potentially, but I don't know. You'd have to talk to a dentist. Only crocs have their teeth exposed because they're in water. That is a very good point. I think it's one of those arguments that we're never going to have 100% clear-cut evidence for. I think dinosaurs look better if they're portrayed with no lips. That's just a personal, interpretation preference. Can I grab these, please? Why won't it let me? What? See, this is another problem with certain elements of this game. The delete tool can be very, very frustrating. Right. I want to make some patches of lilies. Okay, let's go get another patch. Let's grab one of these. So this patch like here. We've got one more patch, haven't we? Where will the last patch go? I'm thinking around here, actually, for that last patch. This water source looks a little empty. So maybe we could just drop in. Just drop in a few patches, and then if we just bed them in with some vegetation, it will make the water look a little less big. What is Henry Wu talking to me for? Oh, a fight's begun, that's why. You know that scene in the Harry Potter film where something happens and Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to McGonagall and she turns around and says, "Why is it when something happens, it's always you three?" That's how I'm going to feel about Jurassic World Evolution 3 reintroducing Dua, Isaac, and Dua, Isaac, and who's the other one? Lambert. George Lambert, that's the one. You know, why is it when something happens in my park, it's always one of you three? Right. I think this is pretty much ready for some Spinoraptors and Velociraptors. So, let us go and get some skins. So, Spinoraptor and V-Raptor. Well, I don't have any mods really for this guy at all, so let's see what sort of coloration's good. I think we have to go with the tiger striping. And what we'll do is since these are all hybrids, we'll make each one a different skin, and we'll have. I think we'll go for 4 Spinoraptors and a pack of like 6 Velociraptors. So one of them is going to be Sonoran Desert and Calcorana. Do put any suggestions in chat if you have any skins that you know that are very good. If this had been a mix between an accurate raptor and an accurate Spinosaurus. Well, I mean, that's why I said on Wednesday's stream that I think... Was it Wednesday or Friday's stream? That the Spinoraptor should just use the Utahraptor, not the Velociraptor, because then it could have feathers. I do like the old classic green. That's the color. Is its Lux again? Ah, yes, the Lux is like a reddish pink, but it's purple during the day. I don't mind that. But it would be a bit weird if we're not using Lux on all the others, so... I like this skin. I think it looks quite good with the white, to be honest. Actually, the Rana works quite well in that one. Okay, so we'll do one of the Amazon, Rainforest, and Rana. Let's do... Gambia River Basin and Lithobates. And then the last one, which will make a Lux skin. I think we'll just make it purple and black. I think that'll look quite good. So Yukon River and Lux. Right. Now the Velociraptor pack, we need to have male and female skins for. I don't know if I have any mods for it. I don't. So. Oh, I have a few mods actually. I have the Dino Tracker. Male and female. The thing is, when it comes to raptors, the only relevant ones really is that one and those. Those are the only relevant ones. Like, it doesn't matter what any other combination you provide. But we could go... So this one has the quills on as well. So we could go for this one instead of the other JP Raptor male. But I think that one is the best. So 2001A. And then the female. Yeah, we'll stick to 2001B. Justice for Scorpius. Scorpius could sod off. It's rubbish. This may take some time to load back in, by the way. The JP3 Velociraptors are my favourite Velociraptors in the franchise, second favourite being the Rebirth Raptor. I think the JP3 ones are my number one favourite, and the Tiger Striped JP2 ones after that. The Rebirth Raptors, we didn't really see them, and we've only ever seen them properly as like marketing images, and to me that doesn't count. Let's quickly go and shut the park. Right, and then let's go and get our Spinoraptors first. I still say these Spinoraptors are overrated. I don't think they're as interesting as they could have been. Just a quick lift over the mountain for these guys. They should just stop making movies. There's zero continuations to come up with a proper. Yeah. But this is the defining problem that Hollywood has, and well, not just Hollywood. I would argue, cinema has. Is that these days there's just so many remakes and reboots and reimaginings or straight up re-releases. Like, why do we have to have all the Disney films in live action now? They can't come up with anything more interesting than just let's remake a film we've already made. So I'm going to do something different with the Raptor pack. And I'm going to make them female-led. So there's more males than there are females. Hey, 21. Don't make a harem. I'm not. I'm just saying I think it's an interesting if you are doing male and female animals in your parks, especially Evolution 3, maybe consider, think about, especially in Sandbox, what is going to be your ratio? Are you going to have like fairly balanced numbers, or are you going to have more males and fewer females, which suggests a female-led pack herd mentality, or are you going to have more females to fewer males, which suggests a male sort of dominant position? In terms of Jurassic World Evolution 3, you could also have just solidly female packs in the way that you kind of have elephant herds, which are primarily just females, led by the eldest female, for example. Come on, choppers. Because once we've done... Oh, and then we need to decide on what species we're actually going to put in here. Because it used to be T-Rex, but we decided the T-Rex were being too loud and noisy. So we might swap them for something else. Because I think everything else is basically done. So the only enclosure left is this one, which is empty. Now, there's our lovely raptors. Ooh, can we... Go and have a look. Very nice. Oh, there's the door out. There it is. Oh. We'll just ignore the magical levitating Spinoraptor, shall we? Le magic. With all the viewing galleries, Jurassic theme parks must have a mental glass cleaning budget. Yeah, well, that's... Could you imagine keeping that massive Jurassic World aviary dome clean? It would be almost impossible. I know what pet birds are like, let alone on that scale. Exactly, custom llamas. Like, my mum used to have birds, and they make so much mess. So I can only imagine what, like, birds from the rainforest are capable of doing. I don't know about you guys, but my expectations from Jurassic Park Survival are very low. That's an interesting... I think that's a maybe... And I can't believe I'm saying this because of who I am, but I think you might be being too cynical there. It's taking a long time, yes, but that's because of the various troubles that the company that owns the company that's making it were having. You know, it's not the company who's making its fault that shit went down. I do think that the game might end up shorter than what people are thinking in terms of its length. I think people are expecting something as long as Alien Isolation was, and I don't think it will be that long. I personally think it will be a shorter experience, which is good in my opinion, because I think if there's one thing Alien Isolation could be criticized for, and it's something I do actually agree with the IGN review about, it's that the game was too long. Unnecessarily long. But I do have faith in survival being good. I don't think it will be the game for everybody. So I suspect if it's anything like Alien Isolation, it will be difficult. And I think the generic children in the Jurassic Park fan base, which is what they all are these days, I don't think it'll be a game they enjoy. I think they'll claim it's too hard or blah blah blah. It's going to be a very niche game for a niche audience, but I think it's going to be good. What has occurred down here? Hot takes get engagement. I don't necessarily agree with that because from what people have told me over the years, I have had hot takes on a number of topics, especially Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2 related. And I don't think it especially helped the channel grow. If anything, I think potentially it has stopped it growing in some respects. Wow, King Giga. Talk about taking a swerve into different territory. Shoot you over this side. I think probably we're going to want like a gift shop. Going to want to take advantage of the nearby Spinoraptor. Actually, maybe not. Maybe we'll have drinks over here. No, no, we'll do what I initially thought. We'll make this a gift shop. Have you heard about weird birds? I mean, I have heard of about a number of weird. Are you talking about a specific weird bird? No, I have never heard of a series called Weird Birds. No. It's a Twitter story. Oh dear. Why is this one gone weird? This will be garden as well, going all the way down to there. This will be planted as well, going all the way down to there. Same with that. What should we do in the middle here? Any thoughts? I always tend to make a pond. I was thinking, is there something different we could do that is not a pond? Path art. Yeah, it's not really big enough for path art. We could do something with this. The question is what? If we put each one more or less there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but line these up properly. Dinosaurs, Stephen. Don't even mention that program here. Oh well, Berenson. Actually, at some point, probably tomorrow or Tuesday, I was going to make a group chat, me, you, Delta, and Sarcastically, just to discuss like where we'll meet up for our excursion to London and stuff. I don't think the Crystal Palace Park is going to be that easy to get to. Also, I remember seeing in the news that they were restoring the animals, the actual statues at the moment, so I don't even know if they'll all be available to see. I vaguely remember seeing something in the news about it. Sorry, what was that?
Major renovations for on 19th of May, 15 months.
Yeah, so Crystal Palace Park is undergoing major renovations for the next 15 months.
About 60% of it is closed for renovations.
So, that might not be the best thing to go and do, Berenson. You have 3 full... Oh, wow. You're there for a while, then. Or you're here for a while, then, I should say. Yeah, Dane has just told me that all the dinosaur statues in Crystal Palace Park are in the closed areas, so yeah. Berenson, you won't be able to see it this time around. Hey, there's the Science Museum. Obviously there, the Natural History Museum. The London Aquarium, which is a bit pricey to get into, but it's worth a visit. That does not look like it's in the... it was not in the center, of course it wasn't. That looks like it's more in the center. Yeah. We'll just make that like a seating area, put a few statues in there, that sort of thing. It just add something else here to take up some space. There is a lot of empty space around here. Almost too much. I'm going to have to think about what I want to do. Obviously, I want to have some amenities down here, but this is so much empty space. What am I doing over here with this? Maybe we could put a few... Oh, well, there. There's more space here than I thought there was. Maybe have a... small amenity section in here. Ah, secretary's in chat, I see. It's a little pricey to get into the aquarium, but it's decent enough. Hmm?
Well, that's violent.
Oh yeah, Chad, that is about violent. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go with a whole less is more philosophy for down here. Hmm.
Would you like a cup of tea?
I would like a cup of tea, but not right now. Could you wait until I stop the stream for D&D? Thank you. Chad, I probably would go for a pterosaur. Just because pterosaurs, we don't really have anything like pterosaur around anymore. So I think a pterosaur of some description would be really cool to see. I mean, a Margosaurus would be fun to see as well. I love a Margosaurus. I'm so gutted it's not coming back, at least not on launch for Jurassic World Evolution 2. 3. At least that's what it appears like anyway. I'm going to really, really miss that guy. Okay, and then obviously all of the rest of this will just be plants and trees, and then that will basically finish that area. And then over here, God knows what I'm going to do over here. I'm going to have to think about filling this space. I have a vague idea of something that I might do, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to fit. But yeah, that's all of our paddocks done and dusted in this park, so it's now just decorative work. Which I may or may not do on stream. I'll have to think. I think this is the last park to like get properly finished, so I might just keep building and decorating on this build. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pop off now, ready for D&D to start in about 15 minutes time. I want to thank everyone for tuning into the stream tonight and chilling with me. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't done so already, and subscribe if you're new to the channel for obviously more content from all of us at Triclaw Gaming, but especially Jurassic World Evolution 3 event news after Saturday next week. Wednesday's video is going to be an important one because I'm going to be talking about that event on Saturday and asking you guys to give me some ideas of things you would like me to look out for. So do keep a lookout for that video and put stuff in the comment sections on that video. So I have some ideas of what to look out for you guys at the event. But yeah, wherever you are, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings. Stay safe and good night.